Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a balmy Sunday evening. The kind where the last rays of sun kiss tranquil shores and rhythmic waves usually lull you into a sense of peace.
Mm-hmm.
That was Gopalpur Beach in Odisha's Ganjam district on June 15th, 2025. This place, typically a picture of postcard perfection, known for its vibrant festivals and bustling crowds, well, it was about to transform into something straight out of a nightmare, irrevocably changing the lives of two young students.
It's a story that absolutely gripped an entire state and frankly sparked nationwide outrage. At its core, it's about a heinous crime, yes, but what really stands out when you dig into this material is the incredible bravery of a survivor.
Absolutely.
And the remarkably swift action that followed and the profound questions a community, and really a nation, is now grappling with about safety in its most cherished public spaces.
Right. So our mission today is to truly dive deep into every critical detail of what transpired on those sands. We want to understand that astonishing courage, explore the rapid and decisive response that followed, and then connect it to the wider implications for safety at tourist destinations, not just in India, but, everywhere.
Yeah.
We've gone through the layers of information to bring you the crucial insights, not just the headlines, so you can grasp the full, complex picture.
And we promise you'll walk away with a comprehensive understanding of this incredibly complex situation. We'll guide you through the precise timeline of events, the powerful societal reactions, and the ongoing calls for meaningful systemic change.
Yeah.
Our aim is to highlight the moments that truly matter and perhaps even spark some new thoughts on collective responsibility and resilience in our own communities. It's a difficult story to tell, but one that really demands our attention.
It really does. So let's set the scene for you. It was June 15, 2025, a Sunday evening, and the Raja Festival was in full swing, bringing its usual joyous atmosphere to Odisha.
Right, a time for celebration.
Exactly. Around 6:33 p.m., a 20-year-old college student, she's a +3 student, so sort of third-year undergrad, arrived at Gopalpur Beach with a male classmate. This beach, usually teeming with families and tourists, sits right in Odisha's Ganjam district. They found a quieter spot, a little removed from the main crowds, kind of tucked away behind Panthanivas, which is a government-run resort, still within the Gopalpur police limits.
What's critical to understand here is that this wasn't some remote hidden place. It was part of a popular tourist spot. Yet, disturbingly, a group of 10 men were already positioned about 50 meters away.
Just watching.
Apparently. Their ages spanned from 19 to 24, and 4 of them were shockingly young, just 17-year-old juveniles. They were simply there, observing.
That's chilling.
Yeah.
And as darkness began to fall, maybe around 8:00 p.m., that group moved in. It started subtly, almost insidiously. They approached the couple and began taking photos,
Right.
immediately threatening to leak them online if the two students didn't comply. It's the classic intimidation tactic, isn't it? Designed to immediately establish control.
And that's precisely where the situation escalated, terrifyingly fast. The male classmate was attacked first, his hands tied, held captive. What followed was just an act of unimaginable cruelty.
3 of the men, Pramod Nayak, who is 23, Baburam Dalai, 19, and Kunal Prahan, 24, allegedly took turns raping the woman. The other 7, including those 4 minors, stood guard, actively preventing any interruption or escape.
2 hours! Just think about that. For over 2 horrifying hours until around 10 p.m., this ordeal continued. The survivor pleaded for mercy. Her friend remained utterly helpless, threatened with strangulation if he dared to raise an alarm.
It's just awful.
The sheer duration of this crime, to me, speaks volumes about its calculated nature and the profound terror they must have endured. It's a stark reminder of how quickly a place of beauty can become a stage for, well, unspeakable cruelty.
And that's what makes the next part of this story so incredibly astonishing, almost defying belief. After the attackers finally fled, maybe around 11:00 p.m., you might expect the victims, especially the survivor, to be completely shattered.
Right, you'd expect them to cower in fear or seek immediate refuge.
Exactly, but that's not what happened here. No, it wasn't. Instead of retreating, instead of being paralyzed by what they had just endured, the survivor and her friend found an almost superhuman strength. They walked directly to the Gopalpur police station and lodged a formal complaint.
Incredible.
When you consider the trauma, the shock, What does this extraordinary act of immediate reporting tell us about the survivor's resilience and determination for justice?
Well, what stands out to me from everything we've learned is the profound courage this demands. I mean, after such a violating and terrifying experience, the natural instinct might be to withdraw, to hide.
Of course.
But her immediate actions, supported by her friend, it speaks to an incredible inner fortitude. It's a testament to her refusal to be a silent victim, and it's a crucial insight into how immediate proactive steps by survivors can significantly aid the pursuit of justice. It's not just brave, it's strategically vital.
And to their immense credit, law enforcement acted immediately. There was no hesitation, no dawdling. They visited the crime scene to gather evidence and launched an intensive manhunt. The speed of their response here is truly remarkable, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The sheer velocity of the apprehension is a key takeaway from this incident. By Monday, June 16th, just a day later, 7 suspects were already detained.
That fast.
And by Tuesday, June 17th, all 10 men involved were in custody. This included the 4 juveniles who were promptly sent to the Juvenile Justice Board. This level of rapid apprehension, especially in such a high-profile, sensitive case, isn't just commendable, it's a vital, often missing deterrent. It sends a powerful message that transcends mere punishment, actively pushing back against the perception of impunity that can unfortunately fuel such crimes.
And to put names to the faces of the arrested adults, they included Pramod Nayak, Babur Dulai, Kunal Pradhan, the 3 allegedly directly involved in the rape, along with Om Pradhan, who is 19, Lakshman Pradhan, 24, and Deepak Tarai, also 19. They hailed from nearby villages like Hundata, Borapada, Padapur, and Sikiri, all within Ganjam's Hinjali area. And the police confirmed they were apprehended as they were actively trying to escape the state.
Which speaks volumes, doesn't it, about their awareness of guilt and intent to evade justice?
Exactly.
Berhampur Superintendent of Police Saravana Vivek M. confirmed these details, stating unequivocally that 3 of the accused committed the rape while the others acted as lookouts. And what's a very significant point, he also stated that the 17-year-old juveniles might face trial as adults due to the severity of the crime.
Pending approval from the Juvenile Justice Board, of course.
Right, pending that approval. But what are the implications of a decision like that, especially for minors involved in such grievous offenses?
That's a critical question. It speaks to a growing legal trend, I think, where the severity of the crime, not just the age of the perpetrator, becomes a dominant factor in how justice is sought. It suggests society is, perhaps, increasingly less willing to offer the traditional leniency afforded to juveniles when the acts committed are so profoundly heinous.
A difficult balance.
No doubt. This will undoubtedly be a very closely watched legal process. Following the arrests, the survivor underwent a medical examination at MKCG Medical College and Hospital in Berhampur standard procedure, but vital. The suspects were also scheduled for medical tests, all part of building a comprehensive case.
Now, you can imagine the ripple effect this incident had. It sent shockwaves across Odisha, instantly transforming Gopalpur Beach from that idyllic scenic destination we pictured earlier into a stark symbol of shattered safety. The outrage was immediate and widespread.
And it wasn't contained locally, was it? Social media platforms, particularly X, just erupted with condemnation and demands for swift justice.
Oh, absolutely. Accounts like at Express Odisha, at Latestly, at FP Jindia, they quickly amplified the horror, reporting on the arrests as they happened. This digital outcry really mirrored the deep public concern, demonstrating how quickly such incidents can mobilize collective emotion and demand for accountability.
Political statements swiftly followed too. Former Chief Minister and now Leader of the Opposition, Naveen Patnaik, didn't mince words. He called the incident deeply shocking. He questioned the safety of women at tourist spots and urged government vigilance, emphasizing that such increasing atrocities against women needed to be prevented.
Which is a fair point, given the context. And adding to that, Congress MLA Sophia Furtis described the crime as a, quote, chilling reflection of the complete collapse of law and order. Strong words.
Very strong. And the Deputy Chief Minister, Pravati Pareda, quickly ordered a thorough investigation and promised preventive measures. She even took to X, expressing her sadness and assuring the public of police action. She mentioned speaking to SP Saravana Vivek M. and ordering steps so this doesn't happen again.
So action promised at the highest levels.
Right. And beyond state borders, the incident also garnered national attention. The National Commission for Women, the NCW, led by Chairperson Vijaya Kishore Rahatkar, weighed in. They called for swift action, though, as we discussed, much of that action had already happened remarkably fast.
Which is good to see that the action preceded the call sometimes.
Indeed. But, importantly, the NCW also demanded free medical and psychological support for the survivor, along with compensation under relevant legal provisions for victim compensation.
And that support aspect is absolutely crucial. What's truly insightful here is how quickly the narrative expanded from just the crime itself to broader systemic issues. This incident, tragically, wasn't an isolated event.
No, you mentioned Puri earlier.
Exactly. It followed another recent gang rape involving a Class IX student in Puri, raising very serious questions about the overall safety of Odisha's beaches. The pattern suggests something more profound than just individual acts of evil.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the statistics are concerning. A white paper from the state's Home Department back in March 2025 indicated an 8% rise in reported rape cases in 2024 compared to 2023.
Yeah.
An 8% rise in a year is alarming. From the information we've reviewed, is there any indication why this trend might be occurring beyond just, say, an increase in reporting or what it truly signifies about public safety?
Well, that 8% rise isn't just a statistic. It feels like it exposes a crucial gap between the public perception of safety and maybe the grim reality. What our analysis seems to reveal is that this increase, coupled with repeated incidents like Puri's, suggests a possible systemic failure in proactive law enforcement and community vigilance.
So not just reactive.
Exactly. It implies these aren't just isolated acts, but symptoms of a wider societal vulnerability that current measures maybe aren't addressing effectively. It points to a need for a fundamental reevaluation of safety protocols in public spaces.
And when you look specifically at Gopalpur Beach, locals have long pointed to inadequate security. Poor lighting, sparse patrolling these had apparently been sore points for a while.
Yeah, basic infrastructure issues.
Right. SP Vivek did promise increased patrolling and urged the district administration to install better solar lighting. But it prompts that critical question. Why weren't these measures implemented sooner? Before such a tragedy occurred? Were we as a society just waiting for something awful like this to finally prioritize basic safety precautions?
It's a glaring oversight, really, and it demands accountability, which leads us to look forward not just at justice for this specific case, but at prevention and the broader implications for human dignity. Justice, in this scenario, it has to extend far beyond just arrests and prosecution.
Absolutely.
The survivor deserves full medical, psychological, and financial support to rebuild her life. The NCW's call for compensation and counseling is vital, yes, but it must be part of a larger systemic change that ensures long-term recovery and support for all victims.
And the accountability for the juveniles involved is a significant point here. The police pushing for them to be tried as adults, given the sheer gravity of their involvement, that's a weighty decision for the courts.
It really is.
It's one that will undoubtedly be watched very closely, as it could set a precedent for how society views juvenile culpability in these incredibly severe crimes.
And when we connect this to the broader picture, tourist destinations like Gopalpur Beach are not just beautiful places. They are crucial economic lifelines for the state.
Big part of the economy.
Huge. If visitors start associating them with danger rather than delight, the tourism industry suffers immeasurably. There's a clear, urgent need for not just better lighting and more frequent patrols, but maybe robust public awareness campaigns that promote respect and safety. Perhaps even something as fundamental as, how to be a decent human 101.
It sounds basic, but maybe necessary. Ultimately, this deep dive brings us back to the enduring human spirit, the incredible resilience of that 20-year-old survivor. She's not merely a statistic. She's an individual with dreams whose life was just upended in the most horrific way. Yet she stood strong, declaring, "This isn't the end of my story." Her courage demands not just our applause, but meaningful action from society to ensure such events never happen again.
Couldn't agree more. And we must also acknowledge the solidarity of her classmate. Despite being held captive, threatened with death, he stood by her side in reporting the crime. It highlights the profound presence of humanity, even in the absolute darkest moments. And the strength found in that mutual support. These individual acts of bravery, when we illuminate them, they can potentially inspire a broader societal change.
So we've navigated a difficult truth today. We've seen how a place of beauty can become a stage for unspeakable cruelty, but also how astonishing courage can emerge from the depths of despair. We've explored the immediate aftermath, the rapid response from law enforcement, and the broader societal conversations that this incident has sparked regarding public safety and accountability.
Understanding these details, it's crucial for grasping the complex interplay of individual bravery, systemic challenges, and the collective responsibility we all share in creating safer communities. It's about being informed, not just about the headlines, but about the profound human stories and the underlying issues behind them.
This deep dive leaves us with a potent question for you, the listener, to consider. As visitors or residents, what active roles can we play in safeguarding the public spaces we cherish? How do we ensure that places like Gopalpur Beach are not just beautiful postcards, but truly safe havens for everyone, where joy is the only story being written and where collective responsibility ensures that no one has to endure such a nightmare again?